There are moments in a courtroom where you're not just listening to the words being said during a testimony, but you're really starting to check for posture, body language, and how that person changes depending on who's questioning them. This is why it's important that you make a good impression on a jury, for example, because they are keenly aware of who you are when you're being questioned when you feel safe and who you become when suddenly you don't feel safe. Today we're covering Brenay's testimony in her latest contempt hearing. Again, I am a certified law nerd, bona fide non-attorney. This is not legal advice. I am just sharing my interpretation of what I heard in the courtroom. Let's begin. Brenay is called to the stand. Attorney Hamilton asks that she state her name. Brenay Montague. Why are we here? This is for contempt related to the 50C no contact orders. From the start, her tone mirrors her national interviews. Very polished, somewhat formal, not her everyday dialect. She would likely call it professional. To me, it read as controlled, intentional, performative even. Let's talk about the restaurant incident. What happened? So we went to Chili's. We're a family that likes to record. We record a lot. We record for memories. We're very phone savvy. Kayla started recording the table and then passed me the phone. She told me it was already recording and to film the plates, and so I was filming the plates. It just so happened, she explains, that Akira's son was visible, but she insists she was filming the plates. What happened to that video? I handed the phone back to Kayla. I didn't think anything of it. Who posted it? Kayla posted it. Was Kayla aware you cannot post? Yeah, she knew. How did you react when you found out? Honestly, I chewed her out. I knew it was going to be a problem. I already have enough problems. I knew it would hinder Tim. I'm over here fighting for the truth. I didn't need that problem. She adds that she knew Akira would use it against her because, in her words, that's what she does. She is asked directly whether she posted any copies of that video. No. Then the questions pivot to graduation. Describe the graduation. It was raining, so it was held in a tent. It was a very large tent, about the size of one end of this courtroom to the other. We were in the farthest row from Akira. We had no access to her. We weren't anywhere near her. We had the row to ourselves. She sighs. I already knew something was going to go down, so I pressed record on the audio on my phone from the moment I got out of the car, so I would have an audio recording of the entire day. But I wanted to be there. Tim invited us, and I wasn't going to miss it. I already missed the first graduation. I wasn't going to miss this one. I was proud to see him, Akira's son, walk across that stage. Did you make contact with Akira? No. So why were you recording? I know the games that are played. So from the moment I got out of the car, I pressed record on my phone. She adds, which is sad, and then explains that she always carries her 50C paperwork and that the school box was not checked as a restricted location. What happened when the principal approached you? She said there was a complaint that I wasn't supposed to be there, and so I showed her my paperwork. She smiled, thanked me, and told me to enjoy the graduation. And when the police arrived, they reviewed my paperwork. Here she begins narrating. I asked the officer, did I do anything wrong, officer? And he said, no, you haven't done anything wrong. Don't worry, you're fine. We get these calls all the time. It felt unnecessary and almost theatrical. Did you ask the officer to stay? Yes, just to make sure nothing else happened. Were you there for Akira? No, I don't care about Akira. I wasn't even thinking about her. I was there to see him graduate. Then she pivots. I'm not here for the drama. I've never been here for the drama. I just want to be supportive. I just want to be a supportive stepmom. I wanted to see him graduate. And then she turns toward the back of the courtroom. I never asked for any of this, waving her hand. Just look at what's going on over there. She gestures in a sweeping motion. These are people flying in from different states to watch this. She says she has everyone blocked. Akira, her family, everyone. People are obsessed with me. I have them blocked and they still access my content. Throughout Direct, her theme is consistent. I am harmless. I am careful. This is a misunderstanding. I am not the aggressor. Meanwhile, Attorney Hamilton's tone, even during her own client's direct, was very high-strung. Repeated objections, frequent interruptions, at times it bordered on what I would describe as petulant. No, Your Honor, with an edge that felt more emotional than it did procedural. Then we switch gears when Attorney Robin begins cross-examination. Attorney Robin asks, were you aware that Akira specifically asked Tim not to bring you? No, I wasn't. The answer was quick, slightly sing-song, a hint of attitude. Is it true that you refer to my client's children as my babies? I refer to all children as my babies. My nieces, my nephews, my godchildren. And you don't talk about the children on social media? No, I do not. How many followers do you have on social media? On which platform? Any of them. Let's see. Almost 3 million on TikTok, hundreds of thousands across Instagram and Facebook, quite a bit on Snapchat. Do you pick and choose what questions you answer on Snapchat? Yes, it's my freedom of speech. You addressed the graduation online, correct? I responded to a question on my Snapchat. Was that question regarding the graduation? Yes, but I didn't specify which graduation. What was the date of that graduation? June 5th, 2025. Immediate, no hesitation in her response. After a few more questions, cross-examination concluded, but then Brenay remained on the stand and became Attorney Robin's direct witness, which allows Attorney Hamilton to begin objecting to the responses as well as cross-examining whatever Brenay says while as Attorney Robin's witness. At this point, she is effectively Attorney Robin's witness, and Attorney Hamilton begins objecting repeatedly when Brenay cannot give a concrete answer about the posting date. The judge asks for more foundation before an exhibit, which is the graduation video in question, can be admitted, and Attorney Robin asks whether she considers referencing the graduation to be talking about the children. No, I was answering a question. I never specified which graduation, and I never intentionally brought it up. People were attacking me online for showing up without context. And you don't know the date you posted. No, I think it was... Attorney Hamilton interrupts. No thinking, the witness needs to tell us when. No guessing. The judge pushes back to Brenay. We need a date. Throughout this exchange, Brenay's tone is shifting. It's condescending at Attorney Robin, it's defensive at Attorney Hamilton, who is, again, very high-strung, and then suddenly soft with the judge. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Finally, Attorney Robin says, well, I can help you. Let's pull up the video. This is where the exhibit is finally admitted and displayed. The post is dated June 5th, 2025, the date of the graduation. Does this refresh your recollection? Yes. Then the video is played for the judge. And this moment is pivotal because now the court gets a glimpse of how she talks when she is not in a courtroom setting. She is describing this version of events in her content. The judge is hearing how she actually speaks to her audience. Much more confident, much more dismissive, arrogant at times. Definitely not the same tone as when Attorney Hamilton was guiding her through direct. Do you consider referencing the graduation to be discussing the children? I was answering a question. I never specified which graduation. The argument is becoming semantic, and this is what Attorney Robin is driving home. Context matters, and it's also driving home the point that attempts to circumvent will always lead to situations like this, semantic arguments. Even with rapid-fire objections from Attorney Hamilton, some sustained, some overruled, the central question remains. If you are referencing the event that only makes sense because of the child, is that discussing the child? She is then asked, if a new order were to be put in place that restricts you from talking about the children in any form or fashion or showing up to certain places, would you comply? And she replied, I'm a proud stepmom. I'm going to talk about the people that I love. That is my right. Or something like that. After that line of questioning concludes, Brenay is excused. That was a lot. I'll tell you, it was a tense hearing. Both attorneys were advocating aggressively for their clients' positions. The judge was definitely the voice of reason in the room. Settle down, counsel. It wasn't that they were acting out of line, but they were definitely very passionate and they were losing patience with each other. I think that's the best way to describe it. As a spectator, I would say that the most interesting part for me watching Brenay was checking out the behavioral consistency. I'm not a psychologist, but I do think body language is just as important as the things that she was saying. And in my experience, when somebody believes something to be true, whether it is in fact true or not, their truth, if that is true to them and they truly believe what they're saying, you'll find that their narrative can withstand a lot of pressure. Persistent questioning, critical thinking, even if somebody is being incredulous, if that is their truth and they believe it to be true, they're going to stand by that. You're not going to see a narrative change depending on who's asking questions. Whereas if they don't necessarily believe it to be true, you might see certain things change depending on who's asking, your answers changing. The longer you are asked to tell that story, the more the details change. Even rehearsed certainty can only last so long under scrutiny, that is for sure. And the selective memory starts popping up. So everything else about the event is crystal clear, but a particular date when you posted something all of a sudden becomes Oh, I have no idea. I can't remember. It was so long ago. Things like that are what perk up my ears. But let me know what you thought in the comments. What did you think about her testimony? What stood out to you the most? What do you believe and what don't you believe? I'll be reading. Now, tomorrow, bright and early, we are covering Akira's testimony. That is the final video in this series. Well, maybe not the final video. I think I'm going to do a little final thoughts video after that. But she is the final witness testimony we will be covering. So I will catch you in the next one.